So in the initial in the initial session that we have seen that there are two types of things that CyberArk or any PAM solution does. The first is the password management. The second is the session management. That means your PAM solution should be capable of changing the password for any target device which gets onboarded in it. So let's say, there are basically three things in the password management: verify, change, and reconcile. So password management is nothing but capability of a PAM solution to rotate the password. Let's say if I am onboarding any Windows account, Linux account, database account, mainframe account, web account, cloud account. So whatever the kind of account I onboard in CyberArk, it should be able to verify the password for that. It should be able to change the password for that. It should be able to reconcile the password for that. So the first two things are, I think, the self-explanatory. The verification is nothing that it will check the password, whether the password in the vault is same as what password we have in the target machine. So let's say if I have onboarded account administrator from server ABC. Okay, the password of this administrator is squatty at the rate 123. Okay, now verification is nothing but it will check whether the password in the vault and the server ABC is same or not. If the password is same in the server as well as in the vault, that means the verification is a success process. Okay, so in case if the password is different in the vault and in the server ABC, that means the verification is fail. So this is a very generic process, I would say, very straightforward, that it will keeps on checking the password which are on the target machine and which are stored in the vault. It will just compare the string. So just to give you an example over here, let's say we have a safe or we have a locker, okay, in a bank. We have a locker in a bank and we have some sort of deposit. Deposit, I would say a cash, maybe a 20K cash is there. Okay, and there is an entry in the passbook is 20K as well. So as long as the deposit is equal to the entry, passbook entry, I would say, is 20K. As long as the deposit entry and the entry in your password is same, we are good. I mean, there is no discrepancy at all. That means we have 20K amount deposited in the bank, and the password or passbook also says the same amount. That means we are good. Whenever the discrepancy arises, let's say in the password it says like something like, ambiguity in the entry, I would say, let's say it says in 19K amount, but in the deposit you know that you have deposited 20,000. That means that's some sort of ambiguity. In that case, you need to reach out to your bank to set that to share the artifacts that you have deposited this much amount and there is an ambiguity. The same process happens in the verification as well. Verification will just make sure that the password on the target machine, okay, is same as what the password is in the vault. So let's say, for an example, let me quickly finish it as well. I'm setting up server for the CPM installation today. Let's say this is the administrator account I onboard in CyberArk. I will show you how to onboard the accounts, but I'm just sharing an example here. I onboard the account as well as its password of this administrator account in CyberArk. Now let's say I have one more account called test pam1. I log on to the server and I change the password for this administrator. Now the password which is there in the vault is still the same, is still the old one, but I have changed the password of this administrator. Now whenever the verification process would happen, it is bound to fail because we have a different password string available in the server and what we have there in the vault. So this is the verification. Change is something, it's nothing like whenever the account changes its own password. Okay, let's say this is an administrator, or let me put up another example here. Change is nothing but alt control delete. Whenever the account changes its own password, okay, whenever I click on this alt control delete, you can see that it is prompting me to change the password. Or maybe I can do it in this way. Let me log in here first of all. You can see here there is something called change password. I pressed alt control delete, and there is a process I can change the password for this account. So when the account itself changes its own password, it is simply as change. In this process, we will ask the account, which is whichever the onboarded account. Let's say we have this onboarded account called administrator. So we will ask administrator to push alt control delete, and it will change its own password. So this is the change process. Okay, when the account is changing its own password as per the desired frequency. So let's say if I have set up the frequency like every 7 days the password should be rotated for the onboarded account. In that case, the CPM will do that purpose. CPM will ask this account to change its own password, and accordingly the password would be changed on the server, and the same updated password would be there on the Cyberark vault. This is the change process. The last is the reconcile process. Reconcile process is something like, let's say if either of them are fails, verification gets failed or the change gets failed. In this, there would be intervention of another account would be done. So let's say for an example, I have basically intervention of second account with elevated access. Okay, now let's say I have a server called server ABC, and I have an account called as administrator, which I have onboarded in CyberArk, and the password of this particular administrator account is squatty@123. Now, let's say if somebody comes from the backend and he changes the password, let's say if I have access to the server ABC as well, and I changes the password of my administrator to Wipro@123. Okay, I have not updated in the vault, but I have updated in the server ABC. Now, when either of this thing, like either the verification happens, so it is something bound to fail because we have a different password available in the server what we have in the vault. So the verification process will definitely fail. Also, the change process would also be failing because in the change process you are supposed to specify the existing password. Okay, then only you need to confirm the new password. So that's a known process that whenever you change the password, you should be aware about your existing password. Okay, so what is the reconcile? Reconcile is nothing but the intervention of second account with elevated access. So in this, I have one more account called admin one, which is having some sort of elevated access. Elevated access is nothing but rights to change the password. So this admin one has rights to change the password for this administrator. So it will again change the password of this administrator. Okay, to a new password. Once the password is changed successfully, it will update in the vault. Whatever the revised password it has changed, it will update in the vault. So now we have a common password in the vault as well, and in the server ABC as well. So this is the reconciliation process, and these three process are the main three process for from the password management perspective. Throughout your CyberArk, you would be dealing with session management and the password management. I mean, major chunk of thing that you would be doing is password management and the session management. You would be dealing with multiple types of target accounts wherein you would be doing this kind of thing. So, any questions from anyone till now, guys? Because this is important. So feel free to let me know if any questions around there. Then we will go with the installation. But let me know if you are fine with this concept.
Ajay, server password means it's associated with AD, right?
Right, right, correct. I mean, it could be local server password as well, account as well. I can onboard a domain account as well. I can onboard a local account as well. That's not a problem. The thing is only that the password which is there for this particular account, the same password should be available in the vault.
Okay. You mean to say the entry should be same for the server?
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly, yes.
Yes. Thank you.
This is a server which I have just installed. This is in which we will install the CPM. So I have just renamed it. Then now we will add it into the domain. Then we will see that how the password change verification and reconciliation work. Okay, this is a server. We will add it into the domain. Let me just log into the AD as well. Let me check the IP of this AD server first of all. It's 155. Let's make this CPM as 156 then in that case. And in the meantime, let's install this VM tools as well because we would be requiring this files to be migrated into this. So now I have added the IP address of our AD server over here, and we will basically be adding it in the domain first and foremost. let it be added to domain, and then we will basically installing the CPM. Okay, I have logged in with the, I have logged in with the local administrator. Rather, I should be logging in with domain admin here. Let me just do that. Okay, I have mapped D drive. So now, as per the last, installation we have done for the PVWA, the process remains the same. First of all, we will go ahead with the prerequisite. Then we will go ahead with the, installation. Then at last we will go ahead with the hardening. So for PVW also we have done the hardening. For CPM also we would be doing the hardening. So this remains the same. In the world, the hardening is a part of the installation itself. So you need not to do it separately, because in the course of installation itself, you might have seen there is a prompt that comes up whether you want to go ahead with the hardening or not. But in the other components, you need to do that separately. So in the CPM also, we would be doing the hardening at last, wherein we would be running the PowerShell script to run to make sure that the accept the I would say the OS level restrictions are added to our server, and it is not vulnerable to any kind of attacks. So this is the motive of hardening. We just require the legitimate services which are needed for the CPM functioning. Rest apart, we will simply disable or make it disabled from the registry entries. So let us import the CPM files, and to check the connectivity again, the same thing we would be going ahead with. We would be installing the CPM private arc, then we will install the CPM. So let me copy the private arc client here. Let me copy .NET framework as well, because CPM also requires .NET framework. So in case when it prompts us, or maybe it provides us an error that it's not able to install without the .NET updated version, so we will install that as well, and then we will copy this central policy manager, that is CPM setup as well. And let us check the vault services. Whenever you are installing any component, make sure your vault is up and running. You should not be logged in with the administrator user of your CyberArk to any private arc client or any PVW as well. Let me check that vault services are up and running. So we have the vault up. Now first we will install the private client. I will quickly install it just to avoid any delay here. And let's define it as well. Prod vault server address would be the IP address of my vault. Let me capture that as well. So it's ending with 140 140. Let me put that. Administrator. So I will not let's restart. Yes, anyways, we need to log in to the private client. So we have installed the private R client, and just to ensure we have the connectivity, we will just log into the private R client, because private R client and any component consumes the same port, that is TCP 1858. So TCP 1858 is the main port for your CyberArk implementation. All components reaches to the vault with 1858. So we are able to log in. That means we are good. Now we can basically sign off from this window, because we would be installing this private this thing CPM. Let me just unzip this. Okay. Now same like PWW, we have the prerequisites for this as well. You can simply see that CPM pre-installation is there. So we will just run this pre-installation. So it will basically install all the prerequisites, whatever needed for it to be installed. So just open PowerShell as in with the admin level privileges. So this is something that I need to run. Now you can see here that something has failed. Verify .NET framework, because we do not have the updated .NET framework over here. Okay. Now let us install that as well, because from 12.2 they expect like 4.8 and above framework should be there, and this was, since it was missing in our case, it won't let us install that, and it might require internet connectivity as well. So let us add one more network adapter. So now it should be done. We have the connectivity resumed here. So if I, okay, let it install first. So it will take a while to install it. Let's wait for some time. So once the installation gets completed, we'll go ahead with the hardening as well. This is the hardening thing. So this is all the hardening will perform. It will disable the screensaver. There are different PowerShell script to perform the different tasks. Let me close this. It might be difficult to read. So now you can see there are different PowerShell modules are there. CPM disabled dep for executable. What is dep? Dep is basically the data execution prevention. So in every server, this is a by default setting. It won't let you execute anything at any moment of time because of this thing, data execution prevention. It will prevent any kind of executables to be installed on your server or launched from your server. So if I were to show you this thing, I think I'm not referring the correct path here. So this is basically disabling it from the registry, but I just need to know the path for that, where exactly the setting appears. Let me just navigate to this. So you can see that for security reasons, Windows Server 2016 by default has enabled data execution prevention depth for all applications and services. This can lead to problems when running certain games and applications. So for running anything, you would require executables to be allowed, from your server. But dep will not allow those executables to be, running from your server. Reason being, let's say if some sort of attack happens and they have basically injected some sort of executables, maybe malware or ransomware, if that runs, then it will basically hack your system as well, or maybe your system could be compromised. So it's a Microsoft security feature which is being implemented on all the servers, which will prevent any kind of execution on your server. Now, why do we require to exclude this kind of security feature? Why we are compromising with this security feature? Because all the plugins which are basically needed, I will let you know in the later sessions, that plugins are needed to communicate with your target machine. Let's say if I'm changing the password for a Windows machine, now the CPM has certain plugins to communicate with the to communicate with the target Windows machine. So there are the WMI plugins, or maybe in case if I'm going with the Unix, so there is a dedicated plugin for the Unix as well. These are basically the executables. So as long as these are not allowed to work, we will not be able to manage the credentials. Or if the plugins are not allowed to run, then we will not be able to change the password, verify the password, and reconcile the password. So in order to make them working from our CPM, we need to make sure that dep is disabled. So we'll disable this feature. Dep is used to appear here itself. Yeah, here it is. Data execution prevention. So as of now, it's turned on. Once we install the hardening and everything, it would be turning off this particular feature. So now we have the .NET framework installed. Let's restart it, and then we will run the prerequisite script again just to make sure it's ending with success. So we have updated the .NET framework here. Now uh, let's run the prerequisites again. Sorry, this is the one. So now you can see that operation has succeeded, though it skipped that yeah, this has verified successfully. Step verify where we have, yeah. So now it has verified the .NET framework as well, and we are good with this.